I'm getting into this, folks. This might even be a 5-parter. I don't know. Thank you for watching Howlinblind, Muddy Slim Smoking Cigars. Okay, so the banker knew. The banker knew that this money was going to be contracted. The bankers, the big bankers, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and those people said, okay, we want our money now. And they contracted the money supply. Now there was less money. A lot of people, but less money. And people started going crazy, going hungry. And now we scoot forward to Roosevelt, whom at the time knew what to do. He liked the politics and the money politics of Abraham Lincoln. But he borrowed and spent the country back into prosperity, got jobs flowing again. If you borrow money from the Federal Reserve Bank, that's the only place you can get money to pay it back. I guess they have the right to contract that money and say, okay, we want this big portion right now. What Roosevelt should have done, though, he should have said to the Federal Reserve Bank, fuck you, the Congress is going to print and coin our money at no interest, and spent that money. And right now, we'd be on cloud 9, folks. But now we fast forward to John F. Kennedy. Back to John F. Kennedy versus the Federal Reserve. He knew that the Federal Reserve was an evil institute. They just want to make money. The Federal Reserve, they just want to make a little money. That's all. No, they don't, folks. They want to control your life. Go to trueworldhistory.info and watch the track of how much money we owe. You and me and your grandkids and your great-grandkids and your next-door neighbors. How much money we all owe back to the Federal Reserve Bank in interest. It can be done, and I'm going to make a proposal here in a few moments. From what I understand, the executive order that Kennedy signed just months before he was assassinated, not by a fucking lone gunman by the name of Lee Harvey Oswald, because, we can get into the conspiracy theories. Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't even on that 6th floor of that book depository that day. But we're not going to even discuss that. But John F. Kennedy was assassinated by somebody for some reason. I do believe it was not just because he was going to pull us out of the Vietnam War, which is now declassified, and we know that. He was going to pull America out of the war. Okay? We didn't need to be there, folks. We did not need to be there. He was going to shut down the CIA. Now, look at some of the things that the CIA has done since, folks. Come on. If you knew, do you sleep good tonight? Do you sleep good? I go to sleep. I can sleep, no problem. If you knew half of the shit the CIA is out there in the world doing, you would have insomnia, buddy. You would not be able to sleep. Okay, but the most important thing is John F. Kennedy wanted to shut down the Federal Reserve Note and have the Congress, through the power of the Constitution of the United States. And George Bush Jr. said, and I'm not going to use the actual words, but he said the Constitution is just a GD piece of paper. It's a fact. That's what he said, folks. The Constitution is more than that. The Constitution is a piece of paper that set this country free. If you are a true patriot and you love this country, you've got to believe in the Constitution. The Constitution was written by some of the most brilliant men whose feet ever walked earth. They just got out of tyranny with England, and they wanted America to be paradise. They wanted it to be a prosperous country. They wanted it to be where people could live out from under the thumb of Big King, whatever his freaking name was. I think it was King Richard at the time or whatever. But John F. Kennedy knew this. All right, where am I at? 5 minutes. There's definitely going to be another part for this. Okay, and John F. Kennedy wanted to shut down the Federal Reserve and go back to printing money. So he did. He print $4 billion and put that into circulation, from what I understand. Because I remember seeing some silver certificates back in those days. I remember it because I know, the big thing was you can take these silver certificates and you can trade them into the bank for real silver. You can't now. You could take your Federal Reserve note in the bank and trade it for another Federal Reserve note. But as soon as he was assassinated, according to sources who've done way more research than me, and I've done a lot of research, Federal Reserve Bank, a.k.a. the Federal Reserve System, confiscated all those notes because they were a challenge. What would be, you got to have competition, and I think it was what's his fucking name that Rockefeller, the first one, the one that looks like a fucking monkey. You see that guy, the old original Rockefeller guy? He looks like a fucking monkey. You know, said competition was a sin. No, competition is not a sin. Competition is what gives us. This guy makes a DVD player. Competition over here says, I tell you what, I'll make a DVD player that you can hook up an infrared remote to. That's competition. The other guy says, whoa, well, if you can do that, then I can make one with an infrared remote that talks to you. And the other one says, well, I can make one with an infrared remote that talks to you and does the dishes. That's what competition is, folks, okay? So John F. Kennedy's silver certificates were competition to the Federal Reserve. It was a better way of money, a better type of money. You know, if you had a choice right now and your paycheck and your boss says, okay, I can pay you one of two ways. I can pay you in Federal Reserve notes, and by doing that, I have to take out income tax because we got to pay some of this back to them. Or I can pay you in United States notes that bear no interest, which means I'm not going to take any taxes out on you because that money has no debt attached to it. Which would you take? I heard some little idiot in the background saying, I'd take your Federal Reserve notes. No, you would not. You would take the debt-free money because that's going to be at least another $50 in your pocket to go out and spend and actually buy product that holds value, that's real. I'm at 8:45. I'm going to take one more break, and I can't believe I knew I'd go long. We'll be right back with the next part. I don't even know what part it is, but we'll get them all up there, folks. See you in a bit.